So again, my name is Greg, and I am the co-founder of Statwing. We make an easy-to-use data analysis tool. So we're trying to take the power of tools like SPSS and SAS and make them easier to use than even Excel for doing data analysis, and in particular, survey data analysis. So as an example, I'll walk you through some results from, say, a customer satisfaction survey. Let's say you're interested in some kind of relationship like that between gender and satisfaction. So do males have higher satisfaction with a product than females? If you're in Excel, you might use a pivot table. You get a result like this. If you're a pro, you can do this pretty quickly. If you're a little bit less expert, this will take a few minutes. You get some answer like 44 versus 59. But if somebody wants to make a business decision based on that, you want a little bit more robustness. Is that statistically significant? Is that a meaningful result? So to answer that question, you might pop the data into SPSS. And there, if you don't know your way around stats, you're sort of out of luck. But if you do, you would think to yourself about the structure of the data to make a decision about what kind of statistical analysis you're going to use. So you'd think gender is binary in this data set. There's males and females, 2 response options. Satisfaction is continuous. It's on the smooth sliding scale. And therefore, you just sort of have to know, or you have to look up, that the right way to combine those kinds of data to look through the relationship is a t-test, independent tables t-test. So you'd write a little code or click through some menus, and you get this beautiful output. You then look at that and have to think, okay, well, if that number is below 0.05, ignore that row data, and if that number is below 0.05, great, statistically significant difference, we got something here. What's interesting about this and the previous decision-making process is that while it's highly technical and requires a lot of knowledge, there's no actual human creativity there. It's rote, by-the-book, rule following. So we took those rules and encoded them into software, into Statwing. So if you take that same spreadsheet we looked at and uploaded it to Statwing, we would automatically identify the structure of the data. So you could just say, I'm interested in gender, I'm interested in satisfaction, and I'm interested in their relationship. 3 clicks later, you'd get this automatically generated report. Statwing looks at the data, follows the same decision-making, says, okay, let's run a t-test, and then let's take the results of it, the statistical significance, the effect size, and translate it into the plain English sentence, males tend to have higher values for satisfaction than females. We follow a similar decision-making process to decide what's the right way to visualize this data. So a couple histograms, one for each group, showing women tend to be towards the lower end of the scale, men towards the higher end. You get the same kind of averages that you would get from Excel, but if you want to dive a bit deeper, you can get statistical outputs, so p-values, effect sizes, confidence intervals, and so forth, all annotated, so if you need to refresh your memory or perhaps learn this stuff for the first time, it's pretty easy to find your way back to that information. If you're looking at a different kind of relationship, say age and satisfaction, well, we're looking at 2 continuous variables now. They're both on this continuous scale, and therefore, 3 clicks later, you'll get a report that looks like this. So the correct visualization is a scatter plot. The correct analysis is a correlation. And we're one step clever in that if we see that there's some funkiness with your data, you've got, say, an outlier that would throw off traditional statistical tests, we'll run a variation of that test that accounts for those kinds of data issues. So you know the sentence you're reading is always correct. Of course, we have the kind of traditional crosstabs that you would expect to see, but we also have some other nice handy tools for playing around with the data. For example, you might want to drill down into your data, filtering to look at only people who have an age above 20. That analysis will run in place, again, really quickly. You can also export your data really quickly to Excel or PowerPoint, or leave some notes and then share a link to your client or colleague and say, hey, here's what we found, but don't trust us. Feel free to play around in the data yourself. So market researchers use Statwing to replace or supplement SPSS or Excel. Those market researchers that tend to depend more on data processors use us more for a quick exploration up front or ad hoc analyses, last-minute analyses at the end. Statwing is $25 per person per month. We're also building a number of partnerships, so 3 basic structures here. One is with market research firms themselves, who provide their clients basically a portal to their data. Increasingly, clients are asking for the ability to play with the data themselves. Doesn't make sense for folks to build their own sites. Might as well use us or somebody like us as a portal to access that data. We happen to be a bit more cost-effective than a lot of the other portal suppliers. We also partner with survey tools directly, so we can be a baked-in analytics product, so their platform can serve the needs of their users from start to finish. And lastly, we partner with just about any tool that creates data, also including survey tools, to give an easy export to Statwing button. Makes it really dead simple to get another interesting view on your data. about out of time, but my name is Greg. Feel free to come grab me. I'll be the guy who looks like he's 16 with gray hair.